And so passes another night of testing in the simulacrum. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be talking about the Fragor Prime, and I'm going to outline a couple of build options for it. Also going to show you a little bit of Riven gameplay with it, so you can see exactly what this weapon is capable of. But please keep in mind that my builds, my guides usually take a more new player friendly approach, simply because there's a lot of things which are not explained, and I really feel like I should. So let's jump into the hammer and take a look at its base stats. Then we're going to talk about mods, options, and so on and so forth. First of all, attack speed is abysmal. Well, it's a big two-handed hammer. What you expect? 0.8. The critical chance, however, is 35%. This is a huge crit chance, and the critical multiplier is 2.5. Again, very, very good. Riven disposition is 3 out of 5, which again is not bad at all. Means the Rivens are gonna be quite nice. Not overly nice, but nice. Status chance, however, is only 10%, and this is where the Fragor suffers. If this was at least 15%, this would have been such a better weapon. You can also see that the Fragor Prime deals by default impact, puncture, and slash damage, which automatically makes it a candidate for condition overload. Again, the only issue is the status chance is only 10%, so we're not gonna get as much as I would have liked out of condition overload. Now let's jump into what I like to call the standard build. When it comes to stances, you don't have 20 options, you have 2 free options. Crushing Ruin is what I recommend. Now this stance has built-in slam attacks into its combos, and when the Fragor slams, it applies some very, very nice crowd control. It's gonna knock targets down, or it's gonna just simply knock them away. Now in testing, unfortunately for me, when I test DPS, this is not a good thing, but in actual gameplay scenarios, that added crowd control is gonna be coming in very, very useful indeed. Pressure point, because it is 120% of mandatory, Blood Rush, Berserker, and Organ Shatter. This is a crit weapon, and of course we want to further amplify the critical chance with Blood Rush, Berserker for the attack speed because 0.8 attack speed, and Organ Shatter because it is a crit weapon. We are amplifying the critical chance, so we want to get some critical damage since we are critting this much. Condition Overload, and I already outlined thoughts about this mod. This is a awesome mod. It's about 40 plat, maybe 50 plat in the trade chat if you don't have it, and it is definitely worth it. Plus 60% melee damage for each status type affecting the target, and again our status chance is unfortunately only 10%, so I'm not gonna get a lot of out of condition overload if it's just me and my hammer. But again, in real gameplay scenarios, your teammates are gonna be applying status as well to a target, or maybe your sentinel, your kavat, your kubero, and all whatnot. So your hammer is not the only source of a way to apply status to a target, or perhaps your other guns and all whatnot. So I still recommend condition overload, unless it's just you and your hammer with no sentinel, no companion, or no teammates whatsoever. In that case, definitely drop it. Next we have some elemental damage, and I'm gonna leave this one for last. Elemental damage should be added depending on who you fight. Electricity and Toxin, the 90% mods in my case, are geared towards heavily armored units such as the Grineer. But again, adapt depending on who you fight. Are you fighting Corpus? Then try a gas build, for example. Now, the last mod, what I chose at least at this point, is Gladiator Vice. Plus 30% attack speed, and it also has a set bonus, 50% critical chance stacks with combo multiplier, and you get this one from the Plains of Eidolon bounties. By all means, go and farm it simply because it is superior to Fury. This is the standard attack speed melee mod. It gives you 30% just like Gladiator Vice, but this one also has the added benefit of the set bonus. They both drain 9 energy, and they're both Madurai in symbol, so in all honesty, it's just laziness not getting this one. It is flat out better, superior to Fury. Now another option would be Drifting Contact, another cheapo mod which is really useful. Drifting Contact is what I like to call a smart/comfy mod, simply because it increases your combo duration by 10 seconds, and we are using Blood Rush. And again, in real gameplay situations, dropping your combo counter, dropping your bonus from Blood Rush will hurt your DPS severely, so Drifting Contact will definitely be required. The plus 40% status chance normally is very nice because it will help a lot with condition overload, but in our case in particular, in the Fragor's case, it only moves it from 10% to 14% because of the low base status chance of 10%, so it helps, but only very, very little. And one last mention, if you are confident in your ability to be an OP player and keep your combo count up all the time without drifting contact or any other combo duration increases, then keep Gladiator Vice on. Or there's one more additional option, if you so desire. You can go deeply, a bit more sorry about that. You can go a bit more deep into critical chance or perhaps more critical damage with Gladiator Might, which will give you an also the set bonus of 15% critical chance stacks with combo multiplier. So it's really up to you. My personal choice, if again I'm keeping the combo up, is gonna be Gladiator Vice, but in real combat situations, real gameplay situations, then it's gonna be drifting contact all the way. So this is the build. Okay, I talked enough. I know I rambled a little bit. I'm tired. I'm sorry. We're gonna spawn in some enemies and we'll kill them. 20 heavy gunners, level 110. Wait, I think there were some remnants. Kill them and simulate. Now, because we are running Blood Rush Berserker, our combos will take a while to build up. 1.5x so far. Now you saw me do a combo there. The combo that I did is the simplest one of all and the one I recommend you guys using in everyday combat situations as well. It is the keep your right click pressed down and it will do this and send them flying through the air. Again, for the purpose of testing, it's not exactly ideal when you want to measure DPS, but if you're actually in combat, that added crowd control will be coming in fairly useful. And here's another combo which is absolutely amazing. E, pause, double E, and it will do these awesome spin attacks, which again will prove very, very useful in combat. Right now I'm just smashing my E button simply because I want you guys to see the actual damage. And you see the spike in damage only happens when there's a status chance on my target. Like now, there is a status chance and my damage gets increased heavily. E, and pause and blah blah blah, you got it by now. Practice these a little bit, and if this is too hard, again, there's no reason to do that, then simply hold right click press down and do the normal slam attack. Just one more combo. Now for that one, you gotta press backwards and it will do this. So try to like go backwards from a target and it will do that awesome combo. Slide attacks, this is pretty much what they can do. And notice that my combo counter is only at 2.5 and the difference, it is indeed quite large. And I think you saw enough. It's a crit weapon, it's an amazing hammer, definitely not my favorite hammer, definitely not. But if you want a crit hammer, this is definitely the way to go with the Fragor Prime. Now let's kill these guys off and switch it up just a little bit. I'm gonna be switching to my Riven, or my main build for this one. I did manage to get my hands on a Riven, and this one will give us some attack speed, critical chance, and melee damage. And let's keep in mind the Riven disposition is not bad. 3 out of 5, right smack in the middle. Now I did drop Gladiator Vice for the Riven. Also, please note using primed fever strike instead of the normal one, and of course prime pressure point. And as per the usual, if you guys got prime versions of any of these, then by all means use your prime versions. I'm assuming this is a new player coming into the game and they don't have everything at this point. Hell, I don't have everything either, so there's that. I kept on condition overload for the reasons mentioned earlier. Again, I try to keep in mind actual gameplay scenarios when I make these builds. Alright, let's spawn in the same set. I recommend starting off with a slide attack simply because it helps with combo counter a whole lot more. And as per the usual, as you can see, having a Riven does make one hell of a difference. And the prime mods as well. So yes, they are worth getting. But as I mentioned before, I am a firm believer that you don't really need, I mean, they're not 100% necessary Riven mods. Level 110 heavy gunners don't just spawn everywhere. This is sortie level. Sometimes, maybe on defense on a sortie. One that Limbo is not invited to, hopefully. But yeah, there is a pretty large difference with the Riven. Let's try a fancy combo as well. It's harder to do combos when everything moves so fast on the attack speed. But I'm not a fan in general of super slow weapons. Well, I think you guys saw enough. Now we can push it even further than this. As you probably noticed, we didn't take into account Warframe Buffs, which, let's be honest, you will be getting as long as you don't play solo. Then you will only benefit from your own buff. So I'm gonna be picking up my weapon specialist, which as per the usual is Mirage Prime, and we're gonna be using her buffs. But first, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. Please excuse me. We have another upgrade for the Fragor Prime in the form of a skin. Now, this skin pops up fairly often on alerts, and you will be able to get it. Again, keep an eye out on alerts, and you will be getting the Fragor Brock skin. Now, apart from making it look like a Grenier weapon, this variation of the hammer has 5% faster swing speed but 10% lower channeling efficiency. Since we're not using channeling efficiency, by all means, definitely pick up this skin and use it because it just, well, makes the hammer better, no matter what build you're going for, unless you're going for channel efficiency, which I really do not recommend. It's kind of a bad idea. One more thing, if you really want to pump up your melee damage as high as you possibly can, then definitely go for Steel Charge as an aura on the Warframe you're using. Or if you're in a party, you can stack these, by all means they do stack, so if everybody has Steel Charge in your party, then you're gonna get it ×4, and that's gonna be 240% extra melee damage. But again, for this one we're going all out when trying to get as much damage as we possibly can. So we're gonna spawn in the same set of enemies, simply to compare. We're gonna activate Mirage's first ability, which gives us clones, and they all have hammers, of course, and her third ability, which will, in my case at least, will pump up the damage by 420%. And we're just gonna go to town. As you can see, the difference is absolutely huge when Warframe buffs come into play. And it's Mirage after all, she is a weapon specialist of sorts. Now, definitely recommend you trying one of these builds in the new Onslaught mode, especially the Elite. The normal one, to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. You can AoE it down with a Banshee for the first 12 waves or so, so that doesn't really matter that much. But in Elite mode, you might be looking to trying something like this. And well, that's gonna do it for now. The Fragor Prime, from my point of view, is an absolutely amazing weapon. If you're looking for a hard-hitting critical weapon, then the Fragor Prime is the way to go. As an option to a hammer, there are two. The Arca Titron, and I have a build-up for that on my channel, so check it out. And of course, the Jet Kitang, which excels at crowd control. And that's gonna do it for now. Thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any feedback for me, by all means, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm off. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.